Now, the MPP is calling the suspension of the CJ unconstitutional and absurd. But then again, we know that the president too is also following his constitutionally mandated duty that when he receives such petitions, these are the steps he needs to take. So I don't know from where you sit, how you view the MPP's reaction to this suspension, and if you think the government or the president has done anything in disrespect of the Constitution.
Well, good morning, and good morning to all viewers. I'm not a lawyer,
True.
so I cannot profess to be one and be offering legal opinions. Those who are the lawyers are even divided over this issue. And it's not surprising that the issue has been very topical and remain topical for years to come, because the judiciary is one of the three arms of government.
Yeah.
Removing the Chief Justice is like one day Ghanaians or Parliament impeaching the president. It's a big decision. Or somebody, judiciary or the president, removing the Speaker of Parliament. Because these are the three arms of government. And they are supposed to be independent and be a check on each other. That's called checks and balances. Okay. So if there is an attempt to remove the head of one arm of government, it's a very important issue.
Yeah.
And we should also understand that judiciary, even in military regimes, have never been touched. You will see the executive, the president, be removed and replaced by a military regime. Once there's a military regime, parliament is completely suspended or scrapped, but then the judiciary remains. So a decision to remove the head of the judiciary obviously is a major decision, and therefore the public reactions and everything is expected. And the response of the minority is not anything new. That is the duty of a minority, that to hold the government accountable. So if government is taking a certain action and the minority believes that there's no need for them to bring their voice on board, it is important for them to bring it on board. All these things will go a long way in shaping and fashioning our democracy. What we should understand is that democracy is a process. Along the way, certain things will happen at certain points of time that people will disagree. But in the long run, we will find out that this one was wrong, but this one turns out to be a right decision. And it also opens up a lot of things that probably might be missing from our constitution and statutes that we also need to look at. I've listened to several lawyers speak about this issue. And it's clear that even those that we see as learned lawyers hold different opinions. So ordinary people too will hold different opinions. Politicians will hold different opinions, because if those who actually are in the legal profession even have different opinions as to what is happening, then obviously it's not surprising that the entire society will be divided over this issue. And you see, when executive is taking a decision, you should know that there is some level of political anticipation to such decisions. The fight by the minority today is not different from the fight put up by the minority NDC when the Charles Osei and other AC commissioners were also facing similar challenges. So, Judge Namanko, Amadou Sule and Charles Osei, when it was a similar issue, the minority at the time didn't sit quiet. They also made a lot of arguments. They also said it was wrong. They also made all kinds of arguments against what was happening at the time. So all these things for me is telling us that there is always going to be some form of opposition to whatever they should be taking. And it also goes a long way to actually define and refine our democracy. We think democracy is always supposed to be smooth and lay down rules and not to be challenged, because no, it is not. I have had the opportunity of reading and following statements and arguments by congressmen in the US when Trump resumed office and people started all kinds of things. They said it's not new. It has happened in the past. Presidents in the past have faced similar challenges. And presidents in America have actually mentioned a president who was able to dismiss 12 judges from office, because the Constitution gives the president the power to just sign an executive order to close down your court if he thinks there are decisions that you are taking is that president can close, and a president in the United States closed down 12 courts and sacked those 12 judges to go home. It happened in the U.S., not in Ghana.
Not in Ghana.
You understand it? A president of the U.S. ordered the execution, military trial and execution of some Germans they suspect as what? Terrorists or espionage mission in the U.S. The Attorney General of the U.S. disagreed and said that those people should have been taken to the normal court process. The President of America says, no, we are three arms of government. I'm the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, and the issue at stake is about security, and therefore he's not going to bow to the decision of the judiciary and the Supreme Court. And he went ahead and made sure that they were tried by the military court and were executed. These things were happening in the mother of all democracies, that's the United States of America. So if you read and follow certain developments in the United States, clearly you realize that the way we understand democracy, it's like we have a long way to go. Today, people talk about Trump dismissing people. I was surprised to learn that during Bill Clinton's era, he sacked 400,000 public sector workers in America. But today, it looks like it's news. Trump is the first person doing it. There's a normal thing that happens because
Clinton sacked over what
400,000.
Over what period?
Within the 8 years period.
8 years.
Yes.
But Trump is his first 4 months.
Of course, I'm just telling you that the power that the president has to be able to do things. So in a democracy, it's like processes and things happen. But see, let's be clear about this Chief Justice issue. For me, we have to tread cautiously. When you raise the issues, then you hear, especially for the NDC, it's a political thing. It's like
they're on revenge.
It's a revenge because EC commissioners were removed. So they want to equate it to the what is happening now. First of all, see, I've always said it that from what I followed under the issue of the EC, the circumstances are different.
Right.
In the case of the EC, the three commissioners were engaged in an internal conflict to the point where what was even happening internally became public. Some of them granting interviews to the media. It became a full-blown issue in the media. And therefore, the events that led to what happened to the three commissioners of the EC are not the same events that are leading to what we are talking about the CJ.
With the CJ.
So for me, I think that we need to tread cautiously when we are doing those comparisons because the circumstances that led to both are completely different. Secondly, I think that, as I said, I've listened to so many lawyers and I've listened to arguments even making the point that it's about time that we actually even take a second look at what we think the president can do. Because when the Constitution was first done, it did not make any provision for the removal of a Chief Justice. It made provision for removal of justices, even of the Supreme Court. It did not specifically talk about the Supreme Court.
For the CJ.
For the CJ. It took a Supreme Court decision that if the Chief Justice is also a Supreme Court judge, then the process applied to the Supreme Court justices should also apply to a Chief Justice. And that became a precedent. And then that same process that can be used to remove a Supreme Court judge should apply to the Chief Justice, because Chief Justice is also a Supreme Court judge.
Very well.
But now, and I hear arguments also saying that, look, what the president, by the Constitution, whatever we have agreed that can be done by the president, is a discretionary power. Because it says the president may. So it means that the president can or decide not to. And then I've heard legal arguments saying that if a discretionary power is to be exercised at that level, then there is the need for promulgation of regulations to determine that in the exercise of that discretionary power, what the one exercise the power can do or cannot do. But currently, there is no such regulation. There is no such regulation. Because the point is, if there is no regulation, can a misdemeanor be used by the president to remove a Chief Justice? Or a business should not qualify for. So I think that what is happening, despite all the arguments, that I think that I am seeing some bright spots coming up as to some of the issues being raised by legal brains about what they see as possible loopholes in the system.
Very well.
Which I think that whatever the outcome of this process is, whether the Chief Justice gets removed or not, I think that our main focus should be rather the arguments that people are bringing up as to what they think are the loopholes, and whether we agree that they are loopholes, and whether we are supposed to make sure that we fix those loopholes for a future decision taking. Because as I said, the democracy is a process. I will not be surprised that by the end of this process, a new lesson will be learned, and we could bring on board new things that could actually open up the space and make it even clearer for everybody. This idea of, I asked myself, why should an accusation against somebody in office who is supposed to be removed should remain a secret until the person is removed before we get to know why the person has been removed? I think that in their current dispensation and in this process, even something like that, I will advocate that it shouldn't be. Because if there is an accusation against somebody and the person is being removed, the fact that there's a vacuum about why the person is being removed, that's why there'll be so much apprehension.
Exactly.
But if the petitions or whatever
is made
public, and we all know that, the person is said to have done A, B, C, D, then when I am arguing that the person should be removed or should not be removed, then I'm arguing from an informed position that these are the official allegations level against the person. But when I don't know, because the whole process has to be in camera until the final decision is taken, arguments we mostly will be making may not be informed, because then we may not know the specific reasons why the person is, because then you have established prima facie, meaning that is but based on what I don't know. It's all the members of the committees get to know. So I think that I'm saying it because we are in the process of reviewing the constitution. A constitution committee is in place working to review the constitution. So some of these things are coming at a point where if we take a good look at these issues, we should be able to make sure they reflect in the work of the Constitution Review Commission. So that at the end of when the new recommendations come for review, what will come up will improve our democracy.
Very well. Thank you. Thank you, Elvis. Let me say good morning to the two honorables who have joined us. The Honorable Seth Kwame Champong, former Regional Minister, Eastern Region, and former Member of Parliament for Empraeso. Good morning, sir. The Honorable Nilante Vanderpoy is here. He is currently the National Coordinator of the District Road Improvement Program. Honorable, good morning. Good morning. Good to see you. Good to see you. Issue of the CJ's suspension. Petitions for her removal. Subsequently, she's been suspended. Yesterday, we were told that 2 more petitions have been sent for her removal. Now, with the increasing number of petitions against her, what does this, first of all, say or speak to the judiciary, one, and of course, I mean, the image of the judiciary, and of course, the processes already underway for the removal or otherwise of the CJ? Honorable Nilante.
Well, thank you very much, Nana, and let me say good morning to my colleague and also my professional colleague.
Elvis.